that we look at.
And are there particular kinds of individuals who, you know, whether within, say, the Muslim community or, say, you know, right-wing groups or wherever, that are perhaps, or in the larger public, that are more susceptible to this kind of radicalization than others?
What research and studies have shown is people who are loners or have been cut off from, you know, the world, and people that have encountered some sort of traumatic life event. They go out seeking for new truths and new identities. And at that point, you know, if they go on the internet and come across extremist propaganda, some of it's very glossy, very attractive, offers, you know, simplistic answers to very complex world problems. And sometimes people become vulnerable to the extremist messaging, and they find it appealing, and they accept that as their new truth. And one thing that we as human beings have in common that keep us grounded from, you know, becoming radicalized is we have these stabilizing influences in our life, these things that they call inhibitors. You know, we have a good job that we like, or we're happily married. We have children or grandchildren that we look forward to seeing. Our network of friends, being involved in a faith-based community, having responsibilities in the community or joining a civic organization, volunteering. All these types of things help us feel integrated, part of a community where we don't feel isolated and we feel that we're contributing to a common good cause. And it's when people withdraw from that, or they get cut off from that because of, you know, maybe they have some mental instabilities, or maybe they have some radical views that people find offensive, and they get cut off from these types of things, that they become even more vulnerable. Now, it's important also to notice that, you know, people can become radicalized and pursue down this path to mobilization and carrying out a violent act, but there's always opportunities along that path of radicalization to realize that this isn't the truth, that this isn't something I want to do, and they could actually back away from that and de-escalate the radicalization.
And how would that happen? How would that, so where would that point of entry be, whether it's by the family or the community or law enforcement? Where would that point be?
Yeah, so it happens in a variety of occasions. A lot of it has to do with human interactions and breaking down the stereotypes that the extremist message puts out there. So in the case of, you know, some racist skinheads that I know about, one of them, you know, disassociated himself from the white supremacy movement because he went to prison and actually interacted with the minority races that he was taught to hate, and realized these people are human beings, they have families, they live a life similar to mine, they have similar you know, grievances, they also have similar you know, things that make them happy. There was another white supremacist who, when he was released from prison, the only person that would hire him was a Jewish man. And he became grateful for that individual because he was a convicted felon. Nobody would hire him. This Jewish man, despite the tattoos and the offensive statements he had, hired him in, showed him the true human nature of, you know, his Jewish community and his Jewishness. And the white supremacists rejected the message and later left the movement. In the case of sovereign citizens, a lot of these people join the sovereign citizen movement because they're financially desperate. They, you know, are over their heads in debt. The sovereign citizen movement gives them an easy way to supposedly get out of debt through these pseudo-legal paperwork that they file. Sometimes these people do that and then realize that they've been scammed. And so they say, you know what, I'm not going to be part of this movement anymore. So there's a lot of ways people can dial it back and reject the extremist message and reintegrate into the community. And more often than not, it takes a human being reaching out, someone that they were taught to hate, to show them love.